Hello and welcome back. Thank you for clicking that video, and here we're going to see something very important and very interesting because the candidate tournament it's back in action, and here we're going to see the round 8, if I'm not mistaken, Caruana against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, a fantastic game. And Caruana, Fabiano Caruana, the previous challenger, started the game with a move e4. He would like desperately to win that game or to achieve a good result in order to catch the top players. And now MVL again replied with this move c5. I already created some videos about this Sicilian defense. We have the normal Sicilian, knight f3, d6, d4 exchanges. Here we have the open Sicilian, and now he chose the Najdorf variation, knight f6, knight to c3, a6, this is the Najdorf, and here bishop to g5, one of the most analyzed and complicated lines in Najdorf. And here again Maxime Vachier-Lagrave of course have a lot of options here, but he played e6. Now we have f4, and here he chooses this poison pawn variation. Of course white can avoid that. He can play something like knight to f3 and play normal chess here, but Caruana was very well prepared, and I'm not sure why Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is continue playing that line again and again, because it's a very complicated line, and white can prepare some ideas. Caruana had approximately 1 year to prepare something here, and he had a very specific idea in mind. Now after this capture, black captured this big fat pawn, but as you can see he lost a lot of tempi with his queen. Now we have rook to b1 because the rook was under attack. The rook is attacking the queen, queen to a3, and now one of the main lines is e5. We have f5, e5, and other moves that I already mentioned in previous videos. Now we have e5, very direct approach. The knight is under attack. We have h6, the counter-attacking move. Bishop went back on h4, captures there. The f-pawn captures on e5. The knight is under attack again. Here Maxime Vachier-Lagrave with the black pieces played this move knight f to d7. It's alright to play that, but okay, he can play knight d5. This is another theoretical line, try to exchange some active pieces. But after this, again, you can see the position is complicated, and white have a fantastic initiative with his pieces. One of the ideas is to attack the pawn here on e5, but let's see, after knight to e4, here black cannot really capture on e5. Why? It's 2 pawns up, but white should have something in mind here. And indeed white have a very nice tactic. You are very welcome to pause the video and try to think. It's white's turn. And white have this very strong move, knight b5, amazing move because he is attacking the queen. Black cannot do much here. He cannot put the bishop on b4 to pin the queen or things like that. The queen is under attack, and for example after this capture, white's idea is to open up the d line and deliver this checkmate on d8, right? So you can see it doesn't matter how many pieces do you have or pawns, pieces or pawns, if the enemy can checkmate you. So we have this very nice move. During the game MVL captures here on a2, attacking the rook. Now he is 2 pawns up again. The rook went on d1. You can see this firepower on the d file. These pieces are fantastic, the knights are fantastic. This bishop is extremely strong here, ready to do something. It is diagonal, and now queen to d5, hoping to exchange some pieces, maybe to attack the knight, attacking the pawn. Okay, the queen, black queen is centralized, so we have queen to e3. Here queen captures on e5, and now we have c3. Alright, all of this are theory. Okay, both players are continue playing here according to the theory. Bishop to c5. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave maybe was prepared for that line because already he lost 2 games in this variation. Now we have bishop to g3, attacking the queen. The normal move is queen to d5, and here it's white's turn. Alright, it's very difficult for you, I think, to guess the move if you don't know the move. And white have some tricks here, some moves. The queen is unprotected, so we should do something about the queen. Not exactly unprotected, is against the rook, so we might try to do something. Maybe c4 is an interesting idea, but white should do something here because if allowed black to develop the pieces, maybe castling, maybe to develop the knight here, then step by step black will stabilize the position and black will be better. Right now he's 3 pawns up. And here Caruana prepared a very nice move, maybe only for that game, and he played bishop to c4. What is that actually? He's sacrificing a bishop, right? But you see, we live in this area that we have the computers and we have strong analysis, strong engines, and we can find things like that. To be honest, this is not a very good move, because if black plays properly the best moves, then he can claim the advantage, but during the game it's very difficult to find and analyze that move. Now the queen is under attack, he captures there, and the idea behind that move is bishop to d6. Why this is very important? First of all, this bishop is untouchable. Black cannot capture that bishop. For example, if he just captured there, white can give this double check and capture the queen. Alright, so white's idea after bishop to c4 was to lure the queen on c4 square. This is one idea. Bishop d6, as we mentioned, and you can see this bishop here is powerful because it's stopping the short castle. And stopping that castle, the enemy king will stay in the center of the board and white can create an attack there. This is the idea, and of course this bishop is under attack because we have, let's change the colors. Let's do it like that. White is pressing that bishop on c5. So already black is 3 pawns up and 1 piece up, but already you can see he is under heavy pressure and he don't have any real way to finalize his development. What else we can do here? For example, he can play something like that, knight c6, but we can capture with the bishop, maybe hoping to do the same trick here. And the problem is we cannot really capture the bishop here. The bishop is untouchable because we have this double threat again. So he cannot develop normally the pieces, right? What else to do? Maybe he can capture there, but then we can capture with the rook maybe, and the attack is going on. One variation is like that. The queen should go away, maybe white can castle in here. Black have many pieces on the board, but the problem is that the king is in the center, so he could face problems here. Okay, this one variation. During the game he played this knight to f6, a nice move, because if white played the same idea, the hop chess, hoping to do this check on d6, then black can of course capture on e4, and now black is winning here. Because this bishop is under attack, the knight is powerful, then he can develop the pieces, and here black is on top. He can win the game. So we have this, and of course he captures with the knight here. We have knight to d5 attacking the queen, queen to e5, and here you see Caruana had prepared everything before the game and he played very fast during the game. Now black is facing new troubles because this pawn is under attack, the rook then will be under attack, and you can see a lot of white pieces are in the center of the board ready to do something against the enemy king. I don't know, but it's very scary to play like that with black pieces. And one of the reasons I used to play Najdorf, a lot of Najdorf games, and I have a lot of victories with the Najdorf, with the black pieces, but having the king in the center, it's really difficult to play, really difficult. And okay, now he can capture here, of course, the king can go on f2, but again, white have compensation here because his pieces are extremely active. During the game, he played this move rook to g8, tried to protect that pawn. Okay, what else to do? And now you can see Caruana continue revealing his preparation, and he just captured on e6. Another fantastic sacrifice in order to open up lines. He's sacrificing the knight. We have pawn takes, knight takes, and here he didn't capture, he didn't recapture there because we can capture with the queen. The king is under attack, the rook is under attack, and after that we can capture the rook, then we can capture the knight, and the checkmate is very near. Even if black managed to capture that pawn on c3 with check, we can put the rook here, he can give the steering, we can sacrifice the other rook, but we can deliver a checkmate like that. The queen can go on b6, and this is a checkmate. Okay, this is an illustrative variation, of course. Many other moves could be available. For that reason here, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave didn't capture there on e6, and he played this normal move, capturing on c3. It looks normal, try to exchange queens because the king is under heavy pressure. Queen takes on c3, knight takes. We have a very forcing variation, a double threat here, attacking the king and rook, king on f7 and rook d3. You can see now the knight is under attack and the rook is still under attack. So white don't like to exchange all of the pieces. He would like to keep some pieces on the board because he is still attacking the king, the rook on a8, and the enemy king is still not very well placed there. Black pieces are underdeveloped. As you can see, almost all of black pieces are in the 8th rank. So we have knight e4, try to exchange some attackers, and here we have castling, and here after knight e4 it was the first time that Caruana started thinking. Maybe his preparation ended here. We are approximately in move 30, as you can see, and in many complicated lines it's very easy to analyze the games like that in that depth. We have short castling attacking the king. Now the king went on g6, knight takes a8, knight c6, try to develop the pieces, knight b6. We have some moves here, okay, because I'd like to show you some the interesting endgame. We have a lot of exchanges. Knight captures, rook captures, bishop a3. The bishop is very strong there. Rook to c7, try to overprotect the 7th rank, and because white is threatening this penetration on d7, alright. Now we have rook to c7, rook to f4, attacking the knight, knight to f6, bishop went back, knight to e7, he captures there in order to split black pawns. He should do something actually to split the pawns in order to attack them, because we have the rooks, but black would like to put this knight on d5, coordinate all of his pieces, then his king is perfectly safe, and then if white is not attacking anything, then black can start pushing his own pawns, and if these pawns in the queen side start march forward, then white will have problems. For that reason Caruana just captures there. Right now we have this h4, try to use the weakness on white's king to create some threats there. We have h5, another check here, king on f7, and now we have another very nice move, rook g5, because the pinned pieces cannot capture there. It's illegal to capture on g5, as you can see, and white is threatening that pawn. So white would like to create a passed pawn in the h file to create some counterplay. We have a check here, king on h2, knight g6, attacking the rook here and the pawn. So the rook went back, knight captures, rook captures, the knight is under attack, knight to g6, and we have the skewering now. The king is in the way, so after this white managed to capture on b7. Now white is better. It's better because he has the rook against the knight, and black has only one pawn in the queen side. Black doesn't have good coordination with his pieces right now. As you can see, the knight is on d6, the rook is there, so black pieces never find this harmony. And white is threatening here things. He's threatening things. For example, he's threatening this check here to attack the king and the pawn. So black played this move. We have a check here, rook went there, we have more exchanges, and this is another endgame, rook against the knight. But again this pawn on a6 is behind, didn't advance so much, so black has some problems now for that pawn. He has problem to coordinate all of his pieces. And now we have the king in the center, king to e3, king went back, rook here attacking the knight, knight went forward, we have this move, knight went back, and he would like to penetrate actually behind. This is the idea, so he played this one, the king goes forward, the king here, we have a double attack, and black's idea here is to sacrifice the pawn, because sooner or later the rook can create a Zugzwang position with the knight, and he's going to capture the pawn in any case. Black cannot protect everything. For that reason here MVL Maxime-Lagrave tried to protect this king side pawn, and he would like to create a fortress. After this he played knight to f7, and his fortress is he would like to put the knight here on g5 or on e5, and go back and waiting, just waiting. And where is the diagram? Actually, after this we have some moves here. They played some moves. It's alright to play some moves. The position didn't change much here. They played fast in order to gain little time on the clock, and after knight f5 we have this one, knight to h6, and now Caruana found a very nice plan for his pieces. Actually, I'd like to mention here, let's say after this, let's say that black is just waiting. Here you can pause the position and try to think what is white's plan. It's extremely difficult to find it, actually. Even Caruana didn't find it immediately, but it's extremely difficult to find the plan. What is the correct placement for your pieces? This is the question. And the best place for the king, imagine it or not, is on h5, because in this way we're trying to break this fortress, to push forward the enemy king. This is the idea. How to do that? Because the enemy king will not go away by himself. We should force him to do that, and in order to force him, we should give this very, very important check on g3. If black stop us somehow, then we can go in the other side of the board. We can go behind. We can go on a8 and give a check here on e8. Try to do that one. So black has some problems, and white king sooner or later can reach this h5 square. For that reason we have this moves, and now he gives this very important check. The king went back, and you can see he played some moves. Actually, he didn't find the best square immediately. It's extremely difficult to do that, but now he's finding the right path, and he's moving forward to that square h5. MVL tried to stop him, of course. We have this one. Maybe h4 was preferable to stay closer to that square, but in any case they repeated some moves, as you can see, and step by step he moved there. The rook goes away. Okay, we have some moves again. Okay, they are repeating the position, and finally, as you can see, he went here on h5. He managed to do that. Sooner or later in positions like that he can manage to achieve it. There is no way for black to stop him go there. And after this I have one more important moment for you. I'd like to ask you something. Rook f3, king e6, and now it's another important moment. You see, we have the best placement for our pieces. The king is on h5, the rook is in the f file, as you can see, but how are you going to continue creating something here? You can pause the video and try to think. It's white's turn. And here I praised Caruana many times for his pawns moves. It's amazing. This guy played this very committal move now, g4, but this move is really amazing, because he's stopping any ideas like this. The king can never go on f file, because we can use this pin and we can put the pawn on g5. This is one idea, and the king can start marching forward on h6, on g7, as you can see. So black pieces have a lot of problems here. This move is very committal, but if Caruana played a pawn move, then it will be perfect, right? As you can see, g4 is amazing move, because we cannot just wait. If we went here with the king, then he has this nice check, as you can see there. Maybe he can give another check on f5, and he can try to kick away the enemy king. But g4 is a very nice move. I really like it. It's a very nice move. And after king e5 he played here, and as you can see, it's a Zugzwang position, because the knight cannot move away. Then we can capture the pawn. This is one threat. Another threat is that we are threatening something like rook h5, and after that to capture the knight, and after that to capture the pawn on f6, and this pawn is already in a perfect position, ready to move forward, and Caruana won that game. I hope you enjoyed it. The first interesting moment is just a minute to find it. It's over here when he prepared this amazing idea, bishop to c4, and he sacrificed the bishop in order to put his own bishop on d6. This is the first important moment. The second good moment in preparation is this one, when we sacrifice the knight, and after some forcing exchanges like that one, we reach that endgame. And the last important moment is this one, the move g4, that I like the most. I hope you enjoyed that video about this game. Thank you very much for your time. You're very welcome to click the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you didn't subscribe already, and see you soon.